The Atlantic slave trade was a horrific time in Western history, but it was very culturally important to the Americas as well as economically important. First up, I want to draw your attention to the atrocities that went on the Middle Passage. As you can see, this is a slave ship, and all of these people laying down are slaves. So they were traveling always in horrible conditions, starving, cold, sick. Colonial slavery started with the Portuguese. They needed people to work their plantations, and at the time they had a labor shortage in their very small country. So they were the first ones to really come to Africa, Western Africa, and then transport slaves to the U.S. and also South America. But during this time, they had a monopoly on the situation, and other Europeans started coming to them to transport slaves for them, so the Portuguese were selling slaves to the Dutch and the French. But after slavery got better established in the Americas, other countries started transporting their own slaves. As you can see, the slave trade created a triangle of trade. It started in Europe, which goods from Europe would go down to Africa to be traded for slaves, all along the coast. So they would take the slaves from Africa and then bring them to the United States to work on plantations and in mines. And they would get traded American goods for that. And then those goods would go back to Europe, and it perpetuated the Atlantic trade through the slavery time. Before the Middle Passage, before the slaves had to cross the Middle Passage, which was the most gruesome part of the journey, they first had to be captured in Africa. And this was happening from other Africans, not by white colonists. If you can see here, the green is most of the countries where the dominant African countries at the time that were capturing slaves. They had better weapons, they had better equipment, they had food, they had money, because they were on the coast trading with the European traders, getting the weapons to go overtake the inland Africans who didn't have the same technology. So they were helpless to defend themselves, and once they would capture them, they'd bring them back and then sell them to the Americans, of course, for more guns and more food and more money, so that they could perpetuate the cycle. On the other side was the slave's final destination was usually somewhere in the Caribbean. As you can see in the picture, they clean the slaves, they pick the ones with the biggest muscles, they usually make them, get as nude as possible. They like to put oil on their skin like bodybuilders just to show off their muscles, because really what they're going for here is to show that they have the healthiest product out of everyone else. As you can see, there's a family standing up there, and the family's not all going to go to the same plantation or the same mine. They're going to get separated, and they may never see each other again. And this is one of the big problems for killing African culture, because you wouldn't be with your tribe once you get to the U.S. You would have no one that spoke your language, maybe. You would just be on your own, and that erases your entire history. And before the time of colonial slavery, most slaves were sent, like in the Middle East or other places in the world, were used as domestic servants. But the slaves that came to the Americas suffered the most, because they were working hard labor in mines and on plantations. And the treatment and the food, everything was subpar. So that's it with the Atlantic slave trade. Thank you.